So, afternoon, guys. I hope you're all well. DJ147 here again, just to talk to you a little bit about updates and stuff like that. I know I've covered a lot of stuff, and not that much. It started off, I was doing a video once every few days or so, and now it's more like once every couple of weeks. But I have to say that um, struggles for me is waiting for. I have said it in some of my other videos that waiting for things to happen, waiting for things like appointments to come through is really frustrating. I now have been out of work since February, which I can't handle if I'm being 100% honest with you, due to the fact that I was a very what was it? Very. I was doing a postman. I was doing a very physical job, 6 days a week, um, and I loved it. And now, being the age I am and realising that my body can't do that. So today we're just gonna run through a few bits that like almost a recap of what I've gone through in some of my other videos. So, for example, the fatigue, the sleepless nights, the mental health, all that kind of stuff, because I think it's important when you put it all into one context, you don't understand how much it can affect someone. So I was a postman, like I've said in some of my videos. So I was on the go Monday to Saturday from about 6 in the morning till 2, maybe 3 in the afternoon, 6 days a week, and I'd see my children after that. To now, basically, finding it hard to go upstairs, to make a cup of tea, to speak. Now, it plays quite heavily on your the way you think and how your brain works. So for me, for example, I've always suffered with depression for a long time, and I've been on antidepressants quite a few times over my years. But I think for me the hardest thing at the moment is waiting for answers. Now, yes, the doctor has diagnosed fibromyalia. Now, apologies if I get that wrong, I probably do, but at the end of the day, that's what it is, that's what I've been diagnosed with. And the pronunciation, my English is not the best, so we'll forget about that. Anyway, but there are other factors why they are looking at other things, neurological conditions out there, e.g. FND, MND, MS, and to name a few. So I've seen a fatigue specialist. I have said that. I went to the QE a few weeks ago and seen a fatigue specialist that has suggested that he's suggested it might be FND, and he is suggesting that a neurological appointment would be the best thing for me, so at least we can rule out other things. I am hoping that we find something, because I have had people in my time say, is it all in your head? Now, that's, in my opinion, that's what the antidepressants are for. They kind of clear all the black fog that's in your brain, saying you're this, saying you're that, whatever, that's bringing you down. That's supposed to help with that. And I have been on it for a while, and I do think my mindset's quite good. It's not the best, but it's quite good, and I do believe that they're doing its job to a point where what's getting to me is the condition, not anything else. So that is that. So obviously, like I've just said, I'm waiting on an appointment for the neurology, which hopefully, I have been told by my doctor that they have sort of accepted it but I just got to wait for that appointment to come through, because we've gone through all the other conditions or symptoms that you're supposed to do before you see a neurologist, because a neurologist will say to your doctor, well, have you done this, have you done that, have you done the other? So you need to tick those boxes before they'll go, yeah, well, we'll see that person. So that's where I am at that, which is fantastic. But again, I'm coming up to a year's anniversary next month of where I'm no better than what I was. In fact, I'm worse now than I was when I first went off from work in September last year. I believe I'm worse anyway. The doctors even said herself that she's seen that I'm gradually going downhill. Would I want a proper fix? Yes, of course I would. If there was a magic pill for me to take to erase the last year and put me back on track where I can go back to work. I mean, the doctor has said to me, let's wait until you're diagnosed before you get another job, because at least you'll have a diagnosis, and whatever it is, that job can put special amendments in to help you with daily work life. So I do think that's a fantastic idea. So other than that, it's literally waiting on that appointment to come through. The reason I wanted to come on here is because for the last few days I've been on my own, and it does sort of make you realise how much the condition really hampers me. So I did put a short out a few days ago about saying that I'd gone to the shop to grab, I think it was a bit of milk or whatever it was, and it took me, and I walked there. It's not particularly far, but it literally took me near enough triple the time it would have if I was I suppose a fit and healthy individual, and I'm not particularly old, and I can't get that. It won't settle up there. Do you know what I mean? I don't, I do feel 60, 70, but I'm not, and that's something I can't get my head around. And I just don't understand why a brain would be telling the rest of your body, hang on a minute, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, we can't do this, if actually you can. But again, like I said before, that's down to the antidepressants, which are supposed to be getting rid of all that kind of negative thoughts kind of thing. Now, a lot of the time you might say, well, I've touched on mental health as well a little bit in one of my other videos. I would say that not knowing and not having 100% diagnosis to what is going on, because it could be a very, very serious case of fibro. Of course it can, there might be nothing else, it's just a serious case of fibro which for whatever reason is just getting worse, but should clear up. But I've had this on and off for 2 years. It hasn't stopped. I don't get a break from it. My speech is always there. My mobility now is always there. I don't get a break from it whatsoever. And there are times that, they say flare-ups, which do happen, flare-ups. And I do have that, where I am worse than what I am now. I'm lucky that in the last few days that I've been on my own, I have had the odd flare-up, but nothing too major. But it does make you feel as if you just want those answers, and you can't overthink it. That's something that you can't do, you shouldn't do. You should always believe that those answers will come, and once they do come, you can move forward and carry on with the rest of your life, which this is what I want, obviously what I'm trying to do. So there have been some grey times in what has been happening over the last sort of year, where you might not say I'm like this. With your mental health, you might be like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm absolutely fine. But that's where I would say having a very, very good support network helps a lot. When you can ring a friend or your partner or your mum or your dad or whoever it might be that can sit there and just listen. Sometimes that's the one thing they need to do. Now, I'm not very good with talking to strangers, or I've never been there. That's something one of the doctors suggested. When you're going to see a counsellor, I don't want to talk to a stranger. I've tried that years ago. I mean, they can say, yeah, but you're older now. Yeah, I know that, but back then I tried it and I didn't come away going, oh, I'm glad I did that. No, I come away going, what was the fucking point in that? Do you see what I mean? So everything has to work for everybody, and I might try it again, because that was 20 years ago. I think 20 years ago I did that, so I need to see. This helps. I've got to be honest with you. Doing these little videos on here does help as well, because in my head I'm thinking, if one person just watches my videos and says, well, yeah, I feel like that, or I know a mate or a friend or whatever that feels like that's told me that, I can say, look, watch this bloke, see if you know what I mean. So it might be helping. Do you know what I mean? And that's the great thing about YouTube, is the fact that people can put it out there, so it's not all in the head. You can you can read too much on Google or whatever's going on with you, or you can watch someone on YouTube saying X, Y, Z, and you can relate to it, and that helps me a lot. So I know, again, I've just rambled on for God knows how long, but I just wanted to put it out there, because this helps me. Whether people go, oh, he's rambling again, but it helps me, because I hope people will watch it and say, yeah, we know that person. We know a person that feels like that, and hopefully it helps someone out there, even if it's just one. And I've said that before in my videos as well. If it helps one person, then it's worth it, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, until my next video, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, please do share, please ask questions, alright, and I will try and answer as many questions as I can. It's not easy, but I will. I haven't had this very long, this channel, and this is what it's all about. Helping people I think is paramount. Do you know what I mean? So take care of yourself, and just remember, you're worth it.